Welcome to AGORACOM via Satellite, a production of AGORACOM in which we speak with small cap executives about recent important developments. With us today, again, I'm happy to have Frank Smeenk. He's President and CEO of KWG Resources, trades on the stock symbol KWG. For those of you who are new to the story, the company holds interest in two significant deposits in the Ring of Fire. That's a remote region about 500 kilometers northeast of Thunder Bay, but home to the fourth largest chromite reserves in the world. Chromite is essential to the production of stainless steel, and KWG believes it can address that market for the next 100 years. Now, what we're here to discuss today is the Ministry of Northern Development's Development Corporation plan and the recent appointment of Deloitte to help establish Development Corporation, which is going to be responsible for infrastructure in the Ring of Fire region. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here again.
Now, you've got a concern with the appointment of Deloitte, and I took a look at the quote from Michael Gravel, the Minister of Northern Development and Mines. It sounded like they're very encouraged by this, and they think it's going to solve the problem up there. What's your concern with the appointment of Deloitte?
It's a bit tangential to what the issue is, I think. I mean, it's all progress, and I admire the minister and the government for taking this step. But you know, we already have a Northern Development Corporation. It's been around for more than 100 years, and it's called the Ontario Northland Railroad. That was created to develop the north end of the province, and it's still there. So I have explained to the minister. And anybody else who will listen, you know, I think we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Maybe we should look at using the ONTC Act and amending it, and perhaps even changing its name to make it more evocative of its present purpose and call it the Northland Development Corporation. But it's there to do the job, and of course it has the very important asset, which is its own railroad network. Going through much of the middle of the province, and so that is the backbone of an opportunity to connect the Ring of Fire deposits to the world markets. That stuff has to get from where it is, once we get it out of the ground, onto the St. Lawrence, so it can go to wherever it is that people are going to be using the chromite.
Any reason to think, I mean, you've got this preference for using the ONR network, but any reason to think that Deloitte wouldn't go down that path? Name me a couple of the real concerns you have here in terms of where you think Deloitte might go as they lead this charge.
Well, there's been the suggestion made that you know, first of all, their mandate is very broad, and I've had an opportunity to have a couple of meetings with them and to share information. So they're very determined to stay independent of the process. When I say the mandate is broad, it's looking at all infrastructure challenges of the project, and I'm not sure I totally understand, you know, how far afield they are going to be going with that. But so they're looking at the road, and they're looking at, I know that with the Canadian Centre for Mining Excellence, they're looking at other means of transportation like hovercraft and airships and things like that. You know, it's a bit this recent history of what's happened in the province is, you know, you had Minister Gravel's predecessor pick a moment in time, which was, I thought, quite incredible. Just as we find something that would add volume and freight to maintain the economic viability of the Ontario Northland, he decides that it's time to liquidate the asset or find new home, new ownership. You know, properly understood, the Ontario Northland is organized the way it is because it is provincial infrastructure. It's there to, just like our roads, to do a job, and that job diminished to insignificance with the demise of the forestry industry, certainly, and the closure of Kidd Creek and Agrium and all of the shippers that used to use the ONR network. But now, you know, we have an emerging heavy, large volume freight requirement that it's ideally suited for. So I think we should stand back, take a breath, and look at that. I believe that the Deloitte professionals will examine that carefully and as I say, I'm not shy about sharing my opinion with them and with the minister and with the staff of the minister's staff.
Well, that's a great segue into my next question, which is, okay, it's great that you've outlined some issues and you've identified some potential problems with not going, the O&R network review. But do your objections have a realistic chance of being heard and acted upon? Because we all know how government acts. Government likes to appoint people like Deloitte. They always like to have these bodies and these they like to research things. They like to gather information, and it sounds like they're going down that path. Can you realistically intercept that and bring it back and go the more efficient route?
Hope springs eternal, George. The short answer is yes. I think we can. It's not easy to liquidate the Ontario Northland Transportation Commission. Just the simple sale of Ontario has been on again, off again, going on for many, many months. Coming up to years now. I don't. It's not going to die that easily, I think, and it's well known that the many retirees and incumbent workers there, the union members, have very, very substantial claims on those assets, whoever owns them, for their security, their pensions, and their job security. So. That in and of itself is a challenge. I don't think you want to make two problems. I don't think you want to, kill one transportation asset just to go and spend an equal amount of money or a lot more and create another one. I think I'm optimistic, but I think, as I've told you before, you have to be an eternal optimist to be in the junior mining business. But we'll get a fair hearing, and it's nice that there's an independent facilitator. Is the turn of phrase that they both sides have used in the contract, and I think that's an apt description of the role. One of the things that they will need to do is come to terms with what the physical reality is going to look like once operations start in the Ring of Fire. Who's going to be doing what is the volume, what is the production, what is the product, the end product that Canada is going to make, where is it going to be made. And as time has passed, one of the things that's been a positive result of that passage of time is that Noront and Cliffs and ourselves have had a lot of opportunity to engage in further studies and economic analysis and come to some conclusions. So, for example, I think the opportunity to maybe have a large underground operation that would mine the Noront nickel deposit, as well as our chromite deposit, and in the future Noront's chromite deposit. That's something that we've had a chance to look at and discuss. There's more homework to do on that, but that the production of the camp needs to be fully understood in order to buy into my belief that the railroad, the O&R network, is an important piece of this to secure the economic viability of the Ring of Fire for many, many decades, if not centuries.
Yeah, that's the important part, and not to lose sight of the fact that at this point in time there may be differing views of how to get there, but at the end of the day, everyone does want to get there. I'm looking down at a quote from Minister Gravel recently where he said, I think it was right after the appointment of Deloitte, where he said, "We remain committed to make a significant investment to support infrastructure needs in the region, but we need partners to come together so decisions can be made. There's a shared opportunity and shared interest in this incredible $60 billion deposit." So everyone is definitely motivated to get there, even if it means that along the way people take different paths.
Yeah, very much so. Including the local First Nations, I should add.
Right. So let's hope that, and these are going to be my words, obviously not yours, but let's hope that the appointment of Deloitte doesn't create a bit of a time delay where you've got people looking to pad their billings and things like that. I mean, that's at the end of the day, those are my words, but law firms, big consulting firms, they're there for a reason. They want to make fees, right? So they don't always end things off quickly, and I'm hopefully you can make sure that realistically Deloitte's going to have some kind of involvement. Hopefully you can make sure it's real concise. Let's pop over to one last question I have for you, which is Cliffs is seeking to overturn the September ruling, and now you've got the Ontario Ministry of the Attorney General seeking permission, a motion for leave to intervene in the appeal. Mm-hmm. Is there anything in that should worry KWG?
Initially it felt like maybe there should be, but once we looked at it and talked to our friends on the other side of the table, this is a not uncommon intervention by the Attorney General of the province. Whenever there is a statute being interpreted by a tribunal or a court, they are careful to want to ensure that there is not a misinterpretation which will be left on the books in precedent to do damage in the future. And in this particular instance, the Commissioner's interpretation of two sections, or the interpretation of those two sections together, is what the Attorney General finds may cause mischief in the future. And so that's the purpose of their intervention. I don't think it will do anything to the substance of the appeal. What it has done is extended the timetable somewhat. We were initially expecting that the appeal would be argued and dealt with this spring. That's not going to be the case now. I think the date has been fixed for the middle of the summer. Not the middle of the summer, the middle of June.
It's natural for people to have initially be concerned when they hear the Minister of the Attorney General wants to intervene. Right away, you think they want to intervene in the decision, right, and be heard. But you're saying it's not the decision that they're concerned about; just a couple of elements of how the courts got to that decision that they want to make sure are clear for their own future purposes.
Very well said, George. You'd almost think you were a lawyer.
Almost. Well, Frank, I'm going to leave last word with you. We're here on the eve of PDAC, and you've been to quite a few of these. We had KWG investors at quite a few of these over the years. What is it that makes you feel better about where KWG is at right now in terms of going into this PDAC?
Well, everything we talked about. There is a real. We are on the top of the agenda with the cabinet and with the opposition parties. We have political traction, and I think the initiative of engaging Deloitte as a facilitator is progress. There's a feeling, we're a little bit pregnant with expectation, if I can put it that way. There's a feeling that the Ring of Fire is going to get a lot of attention both at this show and subsequently this coming year. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for the province. I hope that people can come to share my view that it's such a big deal. We should save this important transportation asset to help us fix the cost of transportation at the lowest price possible by using a provincial asset, and thereby ensure the economic profitability of the Ring of Fire for a long time forward.
Well, if anyone's got the clout and if anyone's got the silver tongue to be able to make that argument, it's you, Frank. So thanks so much for joining us again. It's great that you always take this opportunity out to speak to us and everyone at home.
Thank you, George. Pleasure to be here.
You've been watching Frank Smeenk. He's President and CEO of KWG Resources, trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol KWG, and you can find out more information about him at kwgresources.com. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll see many of you at PDAC. Until then, have a great weekend, and talk to you next time.